You're seeing a lot of videos with me in a Penn State hoodie. I'm recording these back to back to back to back. This is my playoff predictions video. I've done a pretty good job with playoff predictions before, just analyzing what I see. I think the best thing I'm gloating about myself, but uh, the I the best thing I remember happening is I when I wrote the article when the Chargers blew the lead to the Jaguars in the wild card round a couple years ago. Um, I I predicted that on cue. Like the week of, I was like, the Chargers are probably gonna come out to a big lead and they're gonna blow it because that's what they do, and that's exactly what happened. I'm pretty good with these. I try to not be biased at all. Um, so it might be a prediction as to what you might see of me. So we're going to start with the AFC. I'm going to go in order of the bracket that's in front of me, so I'm not going in order of the games and stuff like that. I might, I don't know. So Bills Broncos my immediate thought was the Bills are going to wash the Broncos. Like they're going to destroy them. And that was my first thought when I saw the final bracket done. And then as I'm about to go to bed, I'm like, Denver has a really good defense. So if Denver were to upset Buffalo, I'm not going to be shocked at all. In fact, I think it might screw around with the playoffs because then my prediction is it's going to be Kansas City Baltimore in the AFC Championship game, and it's not even going to be close. Um, because I think it's three. One of these three teams is going to the Super Bowl. It's going to be Kansas City, Baltimore, or Buffalo. I don't think anyone else is going to the Super Bowl. I'd be shocked. Denver's not going. You will never see me pick a rookie quarterback to go to the Super Bowl. You'll never. I said that about every Brock Purdy too. There's no way a rookie quarterback goes to the Super Bowl. That includes you, Bo Nix. So no. Um, so yeah, Buffalo beating Denver. Um, I think it might be closer than people think. I don't know what the over under is. I don't really do betting, so yeah. Baltimore, Pittsburgh. It's been one on record on the year. Both the Ravens and Steelers have been saying all year that they're going to face each other for a third time, and they got what they wanted. This game's in Baltimore. Uh, Pittsburgh's riding a 3 or 4 game losing streak. They lost to Philly, Kansas City, Baltimore, and Cincinnati. So four. They've are on a 4 game losing streak. Um, Baltimore looks. I mean, what I've seen out of Baltimore the last couple weeks, it's like I don't know. They're hitting their stride right now at a perfect time. Zay Flowers is hurt, so that is the one negative on the entire team. Um, so I don't know how Baltimore's going to handle that. I personally don't think it's going to be that big of an issue. So I have Baltimore winning. Um, I, I mean, these games usually are close, small scoring, but if Baltimore somehow drops 30, it's over. Um, yeah, I'm going with the Ravens. I think they're hitting their stride at the right time. Uh, Texans Chargers final wild card AFC matchup. I am going to go with this is one that I've been going back and forth on, but I'm pretty confident I'm gonna go Chargers. My issue with the Texans, I know they won a playoff game last year. I get that. They also played Cleveland with Joe Flacco at quarterback. Um, and you're going against uh Jim Harbaugh, who is a very smart coach in football. I think the Chargers are a good team. I think they're young, but they have the experience. And Harbaugh came in and kind of just put his own take on the team, and I think they're good. I think the Texans are still really young and still figuring themselves out. I don't think they've really. felt a loss yet. I don't know how to explain that, but like I don't think they've taken a loss seriously. Like usually when some team loses in like the playoffs, they'll be like, "All right, we're gonna use that as motivation next year." But I think when they lost to the Ravens last year, they were like, "Oh, we weren't supposed to be here." So this was a great season, and this was a win of a season. But now your expectations going into this year were, okay, this team could be a Super Bowl contender. And I don't think at any point I've said the Texans look like they could go win in the Super Bowl or even go to the Super Bowl. So, I think this is going to be the game that finally knocks them over the head and says, "Hey, you need to wake up and get better next year." Stroud definitely took a step back this year. Nico Collins got hurt. Tank Dell got hurt again. Joe Mixon's been in and out. Defense has been iffy. At times they look great, and at times they don't. There's one part about this team that looks like they could win a Super Bowl. It's that defense. The offense is just very inconsistent. I think the offense needs to get more consistent, and they could get it on a Super Bowl run. Um, but I will go with the Chargers. I think they're going to use old school football to beat the Texans. I think they're going to run the ball well. I think they're going to play great defense. Um, as they just Chargers just signed Zeke. Zeke, I doubt Zeke gets even a snap, but I think that's more for like if they were to win. Uh, but yeah, that I'm gonna go Chargers. That would mean it's Chiefs, Chargers, Bills, Ravens. I'll go to the NFC side. So I have the Eagles and Packers. I'm gonna go with the Eagles. If you saw my Eagles video, you'll know I'm the Packers are they had some issues in that last game, and I don't think they were able to really do much with that. The Eagles, despite having some injuries like Jalen Hurts, they've still looked really good. Um, no Jair Alexander is huge for Green Bay, so because I mean it was already an issue trying to cover Devontae Smith or AJ Brown. Now you don't have Alexander, so I am gonna go with the Eagles. I think the Eagles win this game. Um, Next is Bucks Commanders. This is one I'm pretty this is probably an iffy matchup, probably the most iffy matchup for me. I am gonna go with the Bucks. I think they have more experience. I'll always really go with experience when playoff time comes, over just what you've done, your overall resume. Um, I think the Commanders have been the more consistent team over the whole season, but I think the Bucks, they have experience when it matters, and I think over the last couple weeks they've hit their stride and they finally getting back healthy again. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Buccaneers. And then Rams Vikings. I said to myself when Sunday Night Football was before Sunday Night Football, I said if the Vikings end up being the 5 seed, I will pick the Rams, and I am picking the Rams. Um, I mean, the whoever was going to be the 5 seed was going to be in a rough spot. And not only that, but the Rams went to overtime against the Lions and beat the Vikings already. I think if there's one team that has the best chance based off teams they've played already, it's the Rams have the best chance to be either the Lions or the Vikings. So I'm going with the Rams. I have a hard time believing that Sam Darnold can be good enough to win a playoff game when it matters. Um, and if they do, then I'm wrong. Um, if the Vikings end up winning, then I'm wrong. Um, but the Rams, I mean, they got a Super Bowl winning coach, they got a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Still have pieces from that Super Bowl as well as young talent. So you have that nice blend. Versus the Vikings, they have veterans, but none of them have made that deep run except Stephon Gilmore, and Gilmore hasn't been there in like what 5, 6 years now. Um, so yeah, I'm going with the Rams. This might be an upset. I don't really know who's favored to win, but I'm going to go with the Rams. So I have Lions versus Rams and Eagles versus Bucks in the divisional round. So now with the divisional round, I'm going to start with the AFC. Chiefs, Chargers, Chargers at Chiefs. I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I know the Chiefs have been the luckiest team in America, probably maybe the luckiest sports team ever in a single season. And that's not hating on. I'm see a lot of people they just talk about their luck and they use that as fuel to hate on them. And I say to myself, Andy Reid should be the coach of the year, and I don't think it should be close with how mediocre Mahomes has been. Mahomes, first half of the year, was one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. Second half, he's been much better, but still not great. All the injuries they've been through on offense and defense, and they still finding ways to win. And they've won all their games but one, and that was against Buffalo. And yeah, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. I think they'll find a way. I think this is where the inexperience of this Chargers team as a unit in the playoffs is going to be what hurts them. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. Um, then Bills Ravens. This is probably my favorite matchup of the entire playoffs because this is basically my AFC championship game. Whoever wins this game, I think, goes to the Super Bowl. I just, at the end of the day, I think the Chiefs have been very good this year. I don't think I've ever looked at them this year and said this team is great. And I look at the Bills and Ravens this year, and I'm like, one of these teams is probably going to win the Super Bowl or go to the Super Bowl. Um, so we have the Ravens at the Bills. Um, I I'm going based off that last matchup. Last time these two teams played, the Ravens just stomped on them. And I don't think the Bills have done anything different, and I don't think the Ravens have done anything different. So I think it'll be closer than the last time they played, but I don't think it's going to be significant enough to where the Bills can win. I am going with the Ravens. I think the Ravens win this game. And with and before I get to AFC Championship game, which you kind of already get that, I'll go to the NFC side. I will start with the Lions and Rams. Rams at Lions. I'm going to go with the Lions. Um, I think the Rams could go and win the Super Bowl. They have a weird team that's just like, you could get scrappy and win the Super Bowl. Um, they have a good defense at times, good offense at times. They've been getting hurt at bad times. I had the Rams as like a Cinderella team last year. I won't make that mistake again. I am gonna go with the Lions. I think that the Lions look like the Lions are the best team of football right now. And even when they got those injuries, I said it before. I At no point did I say the Lions were not the best team in the NFC. Even when the Eagles were at their highest and the Lions had those injuries, I'm like, the Lions, until they show me otherwise, are the best team in the NFC, and they are the best team in the NFC. Um, Eagles Bucks. This is gonna be one that hurts me. I am going to go with the Bucks. Until the Eagles prove me otherwise against the Bucks, I have to pick the Bucks. They It seems like every time the Eagles play the Bucks just have their hand. Sirianni gets completely out coached. I get it. The Eagles were without Devontae Smith and AJ Brown for the game against the Bucks. I get that. It was also a completely different defense, and it was the turning point in the year for the Eagles where they were like, "Hey, we need to turn things around." I get all of that. It's just until I mean, if they win this game, then I have a lot of confidence going against Detroit or the Rams or whoever else they might play. So, otherwise, I'm gonna go with the Buccaneers. Yeah. So I have AFC Championship game, Ravens at Chiefs, NFC Championship game, Bucks at Lions. For the AFC Championship game, I think this is going to be uh, what I think this is finally a turning point for the Ravens. I think they have exactly what they need to go to the Super Bowl. I'm going to go with the Ravens. They were my pick to win the AFC before the season started. I'm picking them now. All year long, I've said the Ravens, and even during their losses, like against the Raiders, like that was at the beginning of the year. At no point did I think that this team can't win the Super Bowl. So yeah, I'm going with the Ravens. Lions, Bucks. I will go with the Lions. Like I said before, I they were the best team in the NFC. I don't think it's close. I think the gap between them and everybody else is too huge because of coaching and talent. And that's kind of the big difference between them and the Eagles. The Eagles have all the talent. The Eagles have better talent than the Lions, but the coaching is where it's a huge difference. Dan Campbell is such a better coach than Nick Sirianni. So, against the Bucks, I think I know the Lions lost to the Bucks earlier this year, and that was also a turning point, and that was sort of like a hit to the head for the Lions that says, "Hey, wake up." But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Lions at home. I think they finally get it done. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Lions. So I have a Ravens Lions Super Bowl. What a weird Super Bowl. I think that was my pick in like week 3 or 4. This has been my Super Bowl. Before the season started, I had Eagles Ravens. But once I saw how the coaching was the first couple weeks, I'm like, I there's no way that the Eagles can win the Super Bowl or with Sirianni. So, uh, Ravens Lions has been my pick for like 3 4 months. Yeah, this is my pick. I've gone back and forth who I think could win. Um, Ultimately, I don't know if Jared Goff can win the Lions a Super Bowl. And that's always been on my mind that I think Jared Goff is good enough for them to go to a Super Bowl. But when it comes to winning the game that matters, I don't know if he can do it. And on top of that, Aaron Glenn's defense is very shaky at times. Like at times it looks great, and this is why I don't know if I want Aaron Glenn to be the head coach of like the Saints because I struggle with his consistency on defense. Sometimes he looks like the best defensive coordinator in the league, and other times he just doesn't show up and do his homework. So, um, I'm very shaky on that. Um, and also sometimes Dan Campbell gets a little greedy. I mean, he's been like that all year. I respect his consistency to constantly go for it. Sometimes it bites them. Against a team like the Ravens that are so good at running the ball, this game might end up being like 17-13, 17-14 because teams are just run both teams have good defenses. I mean, the Ravens, they're a little iffy at times, but they've definitely been coming on lately. Um, but I think it'll come down to them running the ball. David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. Montgomery's obviously hurt, but I heard he's going to come back. So, and I think I just don't know how you can compete with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. So, I am going to go with the Baltimore Ravens winning the Super Bowl. So, those are my Super Bowl predictions. Um, Super Bowl MVP, that's kind of a throw throw a dart at a dartboard blindfolded and see if you can get a bullseye. Like it could end up being a kicker, it could be Justin Tucker, it could be like I don't know, Nani Madubuike. Like it could be anyone. So it could be Michael Pierce. She could get 3 interceptions in the game. You don't know. So yeah, with that being said, those are my playoff predictions. Share your playoff predictions. I would love to hear them. Um, I I'm more than confident that that this is not going to happen. This isn't like I'm guaranteed I'm not going to get some right, and that's okay. It happens every year. Nobody's going to have a perfect bracket. Some people are going to have a perfect bracket. Good for them. This happened before. I've seen brackets that are perfect. I've seen brackets that are completely wrong. So, yeah. Just share your opinions. I'm open to any of them except for a rookie winning Super Bowl. Rookie is not going to win the Super Bowl. Has never happened before, and I'm until I see otherwise, a rookie won't win the Super Bowl. So you can eliminate the Broncos and Commanders. So, but otherwise, if you have anyone else winning, okay, you can share that. So, um, good luck to all the playoff teams. And importantly, go Eagles.